Good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, broadcasting live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And good morning to you, Bandula.
Morning for us.
A bit wet outside.
Is it?
You're a bit insulated from the weather here. Joining us on this wet morning is Mr. Hemanta Withanage.
Good morning.
Good morning. And your organization is the
Center for Environmental Justice.
Center for Environmental Justice. I love it, the word justice.
Yeah, I'm waiting for justice.
And what's happening to our environment in Sri Lanka?
It's getting worse. To my understand, I think we in the whole South Asia region we have the best nature, best environment, but unfortunately we are not handling it very safely. We are not managing, and because of that you see the garbage is everywhere, and we are cutting down the forest, and the water is getting polluted. So I think we are running into a really big environmental crisis in Sri Lanka.
Concrete jungle.
Definitely.
Is that these environmental problems, is it consistent with development and change?
Yeah, definitely. Since 1992 we have been talking about this problem between environment and development. So the people think that destroying the forest and flattening all the lands and then covering all the soil, all the lands with soil, that is development. So that's what we call land development. So which is unfortunate. In most of the developed countries every tree is protected, but unfortunately we see a lot of green cover in Sri Lanka, and more than 70% of the country is covered with green, and we claim that we have 29% of the forest cover. Because of that, I think we don't feel that the tree is important, but at the age of climate change, anyway, whether we like or not, at the end of this century the temperature rise will be more than 3 degrees, and last 2 weeks we have seen how we are suffering from these heat waves, and yesterday in Chennai thousands of birds died because of the heat wave. So when you see these things, and you won't cut a single tree. So but unfortunately it is true that we prefer concrete more than the trees.
But who's responsible? Aren't the politicians responsible?
It is.
Oh, them again.
But at the same time, I think every individual has the right to protect, and they have the duty to protect all these trees, rivers, and without the water, without trees, definitely we cannot live in this country for next couple of decades. It will be ruined. So unless we start now, or I think maybe we are already late, but definitely at least we have to start now.
So better late than never.
Definitely.
So what does things like what's your stand then on Psalm 4? Coal power. Yeah,
actually the coal power is the introduction of coal power since 1985 we have opposed, and Norachole was wrong at the very beginning, because Norachole coal power plant was a used power plant, so that is why it cannot generate the same amount of expected energy. Now the Norachole coal power is there, and it has a lot of environmental problems, it has a lot of social problems as well. But when you bring another 500 megawatt Indian supported coal power plant, another 500 JICA supported coal power plant, you are losing the potential to have the renewable energy in Sri Lanka, because coal is not a sovereign natural resource, so we don't have the control over this natural resource, and it is polluting, and most of the countries including China, they are dismantling their coal power plant.
Including I heard Japan, and even India doesn't want to have it.
China wants to dismantle all coal power plant by 2050
and send it to Sri Lanka,
and those plants are now coming to the countries like Sri Lanka. So this is unfortunate. And also we have a lot of potential for renewable energy. Now, for example, the wind energy, there's a research done by the Ceylon Electricity Board and the US, about 20,000 megawatt by the wind power, and every square meter you can generate 4.5 to 6 kilowatt hour per day by solar. and also more than 30,000 megawatt you can generate by tidal wave. So these are the real potentials. Now when you generate 1,000 megawatt to meet the current day demand, or maybe the demand by the next decade, so you will not have any opportunity to develop those kind of renewables, and the renewables get a lot of money, and for many of the countries are very willing to support the renewable energy, including
what
the
happens?
banks.
You can't really rely on that, can you? Because
Some of the European countries,
rain.
some of the European countries have already gone for 100% renewables, and we have.
Like where is that?
The Germany is going there, and some of the
Do you know
Scandinavian
what level
countries.
they're now at?
So they are above 60% now already, and the Germany is one of the country, they have decided that no more nuclear power, no more coal power, and we have the sun, and
What about
Germany doesn't have the
coming
sun.
back to Sampur, Hemant? People are protesting there.
Yes.
People are worried about their livelihoods.
Is that justified?
What's the government doing?
Unfortunately, the government, without considering the public comments and the public opposition, so they approved the project. So this is wrong.
Was it the previous government or the present government?
No, the present government. During, the Central Environmental Authority very recently approved this project because it's beyond the energy needs.
Is it
it's a
ridiculous for the
project
Environmental Authority to approve it?
Definitely, unfortunately, this is our problem. Now, one of the issue is they will take the water from the lagoon and then release into the sea, where 13 types of whales and dolphins can be visible every year. Now, when you release 7% degree high temperature water into the ocean, and the whole ecosystem will die, so there will be no whales coming. And also the sulfur dioxide, I have seen some people are telling that the sulfur dioxide as it rains will come to the central mountains, but it is not. It is the very old power plant which they decided, which they want to develop about 2 decades ago. But this power plant will capture sulfur dioxide, mix with the cooling water and send it to the ocean. When you send it to the ocean will get acidified. So then the whole ecosystem will die. So then the small fish,
it will affect tourism, whale watching, everything.
Definitely, those will be definitely affected, and also there's no information about what sort of coal they are going to bring. At the moment, Norachole, we have made a report in end of 2014, and we have seen if we go to the site, we cannot spend at least 30 minutes in the site because of the eye irritation and the bad smell. But unfortunately, I have seen the poor people are bringing their newly born children into the same environment.
For us, we should go and do a program from there.
We will, actually. Good, very good idea. But I want to ask you this. You said, all the whales won't come and so on. And I'm going to be devil's advocate this morning. What is more important? To have whales visiting Sri Lanka, or for us to have consistent power?
I think if you want
enough power.
I think if you think about the generation capacity in Sri Lanka, we have almost 3,000 megawatt generation capacity, and we need about 2,000 megawatt capacity.
But how much of this is? How much of that is renewable?
Renewable is very, very small, because it's like almost less than 1%. And if you consider hydropower as a renewable, then
how did you make that 3,000? It was 900 from Norachole.
Norachole is there. Then the hydropower capacity is, I think, almost like 600, 700.
But that's what I mean. You see, we can't possibly invite all these investors into the country to invest in various industries, including the still to happen VW plant,
the
Volkswagen plant
in Kuyapitia.
You can't really rely on that sort of thing, can you?
Actually, if you look at the potential for the renewables in this country,
Yeah.
and we can generate much more energy using renewables rather than burning fossil fuel.
And we can
And the
do without coal. Yeah, if other countries are rejecting, why should we accept?
Definitely. And the coal is the number one reason for climate change. Whether we want to have the Volkswagen plants investing here, or whether we want our country to save from the rising sea level, is a decision that the politician should take, that the decision should make. Now, if you look at the maps drawn on the what will happen if the sea level rise happen in Sri Lanka, so you will lose part of Jaffna, you will lose part of Puttalam, Galle, and part of Colombo. So whether you want to go underwater, or whether you want to generate adequate electricity and satisfy all these energy hungry people, that's a political decision. Now, if you want to change this the whole equation, you can bring the renewable energy. What you want to do is the tariff system. So you have to change a lot of policies, because at the moment, if you want to buy a small solar cell in India, it is like less than 9,000 Sri Lankan rupees, but the same cell in Sri Lanka might be more than 30,000 rupees.
Actually, you've got good point in the making there. Why, Bandula, do you think that the Minister of Finance cannot make all these electric cars? Why can't they give them zero duty? Because there's no tax on the they're being charged through the solar cells when you recharge them, and it's an entirely electric car.
But there's a hidden agenda somewhere.
There must be. But really, at what point? Where's the mix? At what point do you say, well, okay, that's enough of this kind of power? But what's the alternative? What's the alternative or core power?
I think at the moment the government wants to promote it, at least in the policy level, the government wants to promote 30% renewable energy. But you see, going from 1% to 30%, you have to do a lot. And that lot can happen if you make small policy changes. For example, the zero tariff for the electric cars. But at the same time, you don't need a coal power plant to run the electricity to charge this electric car. And most of the countries like Korea, we get a lot from Korea, and the Korea has all the solar roofs everywhere. And Netherlands, solar roof, but the solar roof can gain, people can earn by selling those electricity. In Sri Lanka, you cannot earn. So this is wrong policy, and the solar roofs is something that the people who generate more,
But you isn't the net metering system.
Net metering, you can zero your charge, but if you generate more, you will not get any payment back from the Ceylon Electricity Board.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you allow this kind of thing, definitely the people will do more. So then that is another way. So and the hybrid cars, I don't understand why we are charging, because a normal vehicle will run 10 to 12 kilometers per liter, but the hybrid will run maybe more than double. So, and you have to promote this kind of concepts. And also, if the people are going to generate electricity from their solar roofs, maybe the industries, maybe the Volkswagen company can come with a solar roof which will generate their own electricity.
That's a dream, Hemantha. We are waiting for the Volkswagen car company.
Yes.
I'm sure Akila Viraj Karyavasam will drive one day soon.
Yeah, I think because what I'm trying to say, that although we go into the renewables, you don't have to limit the investment. You have to limit the investment, because I don't think that we still have a market-driven economy. The economy should be driven by the environmental limitations. We have a climate change, and we have less forests now, and we have a water crisis, and unless you address those issues, and people don't going to eat cars, but they will need food, and they will need water to drink, and without having those basic needs, and you will have more and more political problems, and that is where struggles are coming. So you have to be very careful.
Coming back to Sampurna, you said the Central Environmental Authority approved it. You are an environmentalist.
Yeah.
How did this happen? Can you tell us more about it?
Unfortunately, when the environmental impact assessment came, we found that it is very inadequate. And then I prepared myself about 17-page comments. And they sent some of those responses, but they are not really answering our concerns.
Who's setting the environmental authority?
The Central Environmental Authority has a technical evaluation committee, and the technical evaluation committee is deciding what need to happen. But the Sampur coal power plant was approved. I believe it is not because the Central Environmental Authority wants to approve, but because of the India pressure is coming on top of that. So because India want a coal power plant built in here, and we should not forget the fact that it is not only a Sampur coal power plant, but the India is going to have a connection, 500 kV connection from Anuradhapura to Madurai, which is connecting the two grids. And these are the package of the two projects are part of the same package. So when this idea came about 10 years ago, when we talked to the Indian High Commission, they say, okay, we will generate electricity and we will sell this thing to India during the peak hours. Now, India peak hours and our peak hours are the same time. So then I don't see there's any potential to do that. If that is the case, why you want to pollute the Sri Lankan soil to generate electricity for India? So these are some of the questions. But it's a sort of a political project, and at the moment we don't know what sort of coal they are going to burn, because it's all depend on whether it's going to have the air pollution.
Why do you say political project?
Because I think the India wants this project. And you remember sometimes some of the ministers were also changed because the minister didn't like this Sampur project, because the minister wanted to have this JICA supported project because the technology is different, but this technology is not very much friendly. So those are some of the hidden things.
So we are a garbage dump.
Well, we have the chairman of the CEB, I think, who said it yesterday, saying that coal is cumbersome, and that he, as speaking as the CEP, didn't really want it. But the cost, from a financial perspective, the cost of coal is significantly, substantially cheaper than its counterparts in the form of diesel.
The problem is this cost estimation is very wrong, because they are not adding the external cost. Like, for example, when you have a coal power plant, you add into the climate change, you add into the health problems, in all around the coal power plants people are suffering. So those are the health costs, environmental costs, climate costs. When you add all of them, yes, the coal power is very, very expensive. So this is the fact some people are hiding. Now when you compare the coal and the LNG, liquid natural gas, so those power plants have less environmental impacts, but it is not the best to the environment, so compared to the renewables. So you have a series of the alternatives, and from the alternatives, coal may be cheaper because they are not adding those other costs. So but countries cannot run like that anymore, because we are really going into an environmental crisis. The coal may be cheaper, but if you want to have the health problems, the people are suffering, and all these you have to consider. That is why the policymakers are there.
One of my viewers has said that the real problem, when this came in, soon as you said that these are old plants that have been sent here, he ventures to say that all our wars are because beggars cannot be choosers, and so we must take what we are given.
We are not beggars, and we have the best pristine environment in Sri Lanka. We have plenty of.
But we have no coal.
Coal
We've got no oil.
If you want,
we've got no oil. They've been digging forever and a day.
If you have the sunlight, if you have the wind power, if you have the wave power, what else you need? And some of those countries doesn't have those, and those are the ones who are using coal. and the countries who are using mostly
What happens
coal
on
are
a day like this when it's raining?
mostly the countries who use coal are the coal producing countries,
That's
and we
right.
don't have coal here. And then what we have here, so our economy should be based on what we have. We have a natural beauty, we have waterfalls everywhere, and we have the pristine beaches everywhere. So this is where you can generate money, and you generate money and you invest into the right energy generation, right food production, and without thinking about our own economy and our own environment, saving our own environment, and we will be ruined. And when the China doesn't want to use the coal in next 50 years, why Sri Lanka wants to do that? So why we want to get all the dumped technology into this country?
I agree with you. Beggars can choose for us, because now if you give 5 rupees, 10 rupees, beggars will not accept anymore. Beggars can choose.
Exactly. Now
Things have changed, things have changed.
Another viewer. Renewable power is very expensive to set up. True or false?
At the moment, there are countries bringing the policies, like for example, the Philippines has brought a policy that at the initial renewable, or like the solar or wind, is little bit expensive, but after 2-3 years you generate completely free electricity, so the generation, the unit cost is really going down. But the coal is becoming expensive in all over the world, because there's a big demand for the good coal at the moment, because nobody wants to have the high sulfur coal. So then the governments are putting little bit of money into the beginning. So then you can have this initial adding can help the investor to bring renewable. So at the end, after 3-4 years, it is going to be cheaper. So this is a front load mechanism that most of the countries are now practicing.
But world energy prices on the way down. 2013, late 2012. The Sri Lanka is paying over $110 for metric ton of coal. The same coal is now the Lanka coal paying. They bought stuff on the spot market for $51.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because the demand has gone down.
Yes.
Because most of the countries who are thinking about the environment, who wants to have, because whether we like or not, the Sri Lanka also has agreed to reduce our emission by 7%. 4% comes from the electricity, 3% comes from the transport. So now this is our obligation for the Paris Declaration, for the climate. This is what we have signed, and on April 22, the Minister Susit Premjans also attended this signing meeting. So now we have a world commitment, we have an obligation to reduce. What is going to happen actually in the current day investment? What you think the India and China investment? Now why India is getting 1,500 acres from Hambantota area? Because India has to reduce their the China has to reduce their emissions, so therefore they want to relocate their polluting industries, and they are very willing to put this into the poor countries.
And so they are trying to pollute Sri Lanka.
They are trying to pollute Sri Lanka, and they will have the same production, but they will emit carbon dioxide from the Sri Lankan soil, and the Chinese soil carbon emission will be reduced. So by that way, because we still produce like one metric ton, maybe 1.2 metric ton.
Why do you think our politicians are giving in to these people? You think they are getting some commission?
It is not necessarily the commission, I think, but I think they don't have a good vision about how we do the local development.
Do they have a vision at all?
Sometimes I doubt, because when I see what is happening with the Colombo port city, I don't think, because the Colombo port city is definitely feasible for China but not for Sri Lanka, and there's no document to show that is feasible for Sri Lanka, but still we go ahead with the Colombo port city. So these are some of the times that we feel like whether our people, our politician, our decision maker don't have any development.
I've got yet another one. Today our SMSs are coming in thick and fast. Win-win is to make solar hardware zero taxable and buy back the generation from the public but no kickback for politicians and or CEB officials. How true is that, Bandula?
Definitely, exactly. I think that is very true, because I think if you want to have the renewable power in this country, this cannot happen overnight. It will take another at least 2 decades. You know, if the government has the right policies, you can speed up this thing. And we see wind, we see solar power, but you need little bit of policy changes at the finance ministry, and also this the relaxation from the CEB, because the CEB is going for coal power all the time. At the same time, we have another proposal coming from JICA, which is called pump storage, which is going to happen in Daranagal area. They will pump the water to a reservoir upstream, and in the peak hours it will generate electricity, but they will pump back that water. And these are some of the nice ideas. And yesterday I found the how they are using the wave using the tidal power to generate electricity. So these can be done. We have the technologies, and I think this year the best 3 innovations, the world innovations, came from Sri Lanka. So we have the engineers to do that.
Thank you very much, Hemant Vitanage, for that and for being on our network. We look forward to welcoming you again. But talking about technology and talking about relaxation, sometimes it's a poor combination, as 2 unfortunate girls found out yesterday when they were crossing the railway line on Marine Drive. Unfortunately, they were listening in with their headpieces on, and they didn't hear this train. And these 2 young girls from a leading school from the area met with their tragic end. So whilst we are very sad about these things, we must point out the dangers of having these blessed iPods and iPads and all sorts of things plugged into both your ears, because you can't hear. So listen up, all you people who are using these things. You must use it with caution. Don't you agree, Bandula?
Definitely.
Thank you very much for being on the program, Bandula, and thank you for watching Newsline. Take care and God bless.